guys, welcome to Leah Talks, your daily dose of good vibes. It's good to be back again. It's good to have you all here. Thank you all for watching our last episode. Thank you so much. But please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Please, I'm really begging you after this episode. So this week we are going to be deviating a little bit from our Real Housewives of Lagos because those ladies are giving me so much drama. My head is about to explode. But I love it. So but we are going to be deviating a little from that, and we're going to be talking about what we've been talking about a lot on my channel, which is relationship. I don't call myself a relationship expert because I don't know about relationship. Me myself, I am still learning, but I do know that sometimes people come to meet me for advice and things like that, and it helps them. So I'm just going to talk about relationship based on my own experience, what I've experienced, what I have learned. So you guys sit back, relax, and see you soon. Welcome back. It's Leah Talks, talking about your relationship is on the rocks, how to know. So we're just going to be talking about how to know that if your relationship is failing, how to know if your relationship is on the rocks and you don't know what to. When I mean on the rocks, I'm not talking about Orioke. I'm not talking about that Orioke our parents need to carry. No, it's not that. It's not that mountain. It's not that rocks. Like if your relationship is failing, if it's becoming difficult for you and you just don't know what to do because you have an emotional attachment. People don't seem to understand that when a relationship gets difficult, if you are not open to identifying the things that are making your relationship difficult, you will not know when to end it. You won't know when, you won't know how. You just keep feeling, oh, it's a passionate relationship. Passionate, there's nothing passionate about being in a relationship that is too overbearing and too hard to handle. And I'm going to say this, every single thing I'm going to say is based on my own personal experience, because I have been in a relationship where I didn't even know. No, don't let me say I didn't know how to stop. I knew I had to stop, but there was this lingering feeling of ow, it's not really that bad until it actually became that bad. So in order to help some of you ladies and guys out there, please, we are going to be talking about relationships on the rock. A lot of people get into relationships because the connection is instant. The connection is instant. For me, I always advise that if you have a connection with someone, that you should try to build a foundation first with that person. I believe building a foundation, a friendship foundation first, would actually give a more solid foundation, solid ground for the relationship to build. But for a lot of people that the relationship started odd and everything, and you still feel like, okay, the reason why you're having so many issues now is because the passion, like you guys are passionate people. I want you to start looking out for these signs, because if you don't look out for these signs, you are practically lying to yourself and you are in denial. And most importantly, you are wasting your time. You are wasting a lot of time in a relationship that you shouldn't even be in. Like that relationship is taking a lot of time from you that you should be doing into something, that you should be putting into something more productive. So the first clue of knowing your relationship is on the rocks, like this isn't something I shouldn't be wasting my time on anymore, is when you know there is no emotional connection. I feel like that is like the first and most important thing when it comes to knowing your relationship is on the rocks. And don't lie to yourself. A relationship is not a do or die affair. Okay, you might have been with him, done so many things, sacrificed so many things. It is fine, it is okay for you to decide to take your leave and go if you don't feel that emotional connection anymore. And it's not just from you. If in your mind you are beginning to think it doesn't do it for me anymore, you look at him and then it's like, I've seen better, I beg. And like every single thing, maybe even talking to each other, like doesn't work out anymore. Like you don't say I love you anymore, you don't there's no spark anymore. I think that's like the most important thing. Like the sex is just there. Like there are some relationships where you just see the the lady or the guy just do whatever you want to do. That doesn't mean they don't like sex. It just means they don't like the sex with you. You understand? So if you are beginning to feel that way, just know, like, that's like your first clue. You don't be in denial about it. That's your first clue to know that your relationship is on the rock. There's no emotional connection. That's your first clue to know your relationship is on the rock. You start seeing that you are detaching away from the person you're actually with. It's time you just sit with that person down and be like, this is what is going on in my mind. My emotions are not there, things are not there, I'm feeling this particular kind of way. I don't think I can do this anymore. Just sit that person down and explain to them. Number 2, I already mentioned part of it in the first clue, which is emotional connection. The second one would be physical intimacy. If there is no physical intimacy, like physical intimacy does not appeal to you, or when you're talking about physical intimacy, I think you know what I'm talking about. I already mentioned it before, the sex. You understand? So if it's not appealing to you anymore, like you dry up easily, okay, there's some people that's just a medical condition. But if it's a kind of thing where you don't feel confident in yourself anymore, you don't feel like you enjoy it anymore, you feel tired and boring. Sometimes you will come and meet her and then you're like, sorry, like I'm just tired, and then you're faking that. And some women, we women, we are wicked, but we go as far as faking the orgasm just for you to stop. We go as far as faking the orgasm just for you to stop. But like, you don't need to do all that for yourself. If you're feeling that kind of way and you've tried sparking up a relationship times without number, nothing is working, but then another person is doing it for you. Like, when I mean another person is doing it for you, the moment a guy walks by, the moment a girl walks by, like, your body start getting hot, like hot, seriously hot. Just know that relationship you're in isn't doing it for you anymore. Number 3 would be, it's like when you don't agree over anything. Now, a lot of people used to say this, like, opposites attract. Yes, they do. Opposites really do attract, but not to the point where you don't agree over anything anymore, to the point where you constantly fight. When they say opposites attract, it means they are both different characters. They have different ideologies, they have different attributes, attitudes, and habits. But at the same time, it does not make them conflict each other. Like, they don't conflict. Instead, they challenge. When opposites attract, it's a good sign when those opposites challenge each other. And when I mean challenge, it's not like I must best him in getting more. No. What I'm saying is pushing each other to be the best versions of yourselves. So yeah, opposites attract, it's good, but not that, okay, you have this kind of attitude, he has this kind of attitude, and then when he's saying no, why don't you see, why can't you do things like this, why can't you're like, what, that's not how I do it, this is how you do it, and to the point that you now start lashing out at each other, and then you start fighting, you start arguing, and this has become a constant. It's time to get out of that relationship. It's time to wash your hands clean and say bye, boo. Like, bye. So if your relationship is that kind of relationship, you should definitely know that relationship is on the rocks. And this is worse because if you keep putting yourself in denial, like, no, that's just how we are, that's just how we do things, it's not that bad, no, that's how we push each other, if you keep putting yourself in denial like that, before you know it, you are married, before you know it, you have kids, and your kids will always have to constantly look at the both of you arguing every single day, every single time. That's a very dangerous zone to try to put yourself in. So if you are feeling this constant fight, this constant anger, it is not good for a relationship. At that point that your relationship is on the rocks, and it is very, very bad for you, for your future, and for your present as at that moment. So it's better for you to just push it to one side. Another clue is when you find someone appealing. When you start fantasizing. For me, I'm not going to lie, it's very hard though. I can't do it. I know a lot of people, like, they will tell you it's not a crime, it's just your fantasies, it's your mind. But sometimes when we are watching a movie, so I'm a big fan of Idris Elba, and God, I'm a big fan of Idris Elba because I just love that his thick voice, you understand? So when I see him in a movie, I'm always like, oh God. And then when he's talking, I'm like, oh God. And there are times, okay, there's this other actor with blue eyes. I'm trying to remember his name, but I can't. Like, I just love seeing him. I just love seeing him. And there are times when my fiance, when we were watching a movie the guy was in, and I just kept, every single time he came on screen, I was always saying, oh my God. Oh, I'm like, ah, God, so beautiful. See his eyes. We couldn't watch that movie that day. Like, it changed the station immediately. And I'm like, what? I was like, you want to allow somebody to enjoy the film now? When you are seeing him and then you're just saying, oh God, what? And I'm like, it's just because he is fine. So, and he does the same thing. Like, he's a big Kim Kardashian person. Like, oh God, this girl is peg. You understand that kind of thing? And I'm like, but it's not to the point where it's like, okay, in the night now, I'm not dreaming about Idris Elba. No, that, like, you are with your partner, but then you're fantasizing about someone else being with you. You're fantasizing about having a family with another person. You're fantasizing about being with another person constantly. Cut the relationship you're in. Like, save yourself and save your partner the stress of having to go through a toxic argument or fight. You understand? And just move on. Look for that person. Try and create something with that person you're fantasizing about. And then move on. Another clue is when the trust is gone. If you no longer trust your partner, for me, trust is gone. You really need, this is very, very important. Once trust is gone, you really, really need to take a step back and just think the entire relationship and just figure out, like, is it the one causing you to lose your trust, or is it something innate in you, maybe from like a childhood trauma, from a fight, from a childhood trauma, from a fight that has happened before that made you lose your trust or something. If it is a problem, you need to think about it and see ways you can fix it. If it's not something that can be fixed, then it's best you leave your relationship. The last and not the least, because there are still so many, but the last and not the least that I'm going to be talking about on this vlog is going to be when your goals don't align. Now, this is something I always tell people when they come to meet me and tell me, oh, there's this guy asking me, oh, there's this girl I like. I'm like, okay, when you're on the date with them, please ask them what their goal is, because you need to know. It's very important for you to know what the other person's goal is, to see if you are both thinking in the same wavelength, if you understand what I'm saying. If you're both thinking in the same wavelength, because it's going to help you, it's going to help your journey in the future. But it's not like, okay, if she's this kind of person that she's the outgoing type, she wants to ball every night, even when she gets married she still wants to continue to ball, but you are the in-house person type, and like, you just want to grow your family, you want to, the moment you're married, you want to grow your family, you want to settle down, but she's still telling you she still need like 5 to 6 years to ball before she start thinking about kids and things like that. Don't try and say, okay, I will compromise. No, don't compromise your goals. Don't compromise your goals. So your goals need to align for you to better understand each other. Your goals need to align for you to better cooperate and understand each other. So these are very important clues to know. If you do not have all these things, if all these things are not not existing in your relationship, if these things are not existing in your relationship, emotional connection, physical intimacy, goals, alignment, if you don't have trust, you don't have trust, you don't have feeling, or like you're fantasizing about someone else, like you don't see your spouse in that wavelength anymore, you're always fighting, you're always arguing, you're always in conflict, if those are the things you're experiencing in your relationship, I think it is time for you to call it off, because that is how you know your relationship is on the rocks. Thank you so much for joining Leah Talks today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that this girl can officially boast of being a real YouTuber. You understand what I'm saying? Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Don't forget to like and share the link to all your friends also. Thank you. I'm still your girl Leah. Hope to see you next time on Leah Talks, your daily dose of good vibes.